Okay. Um, cool. So yeah, absolutely. What I was gonna suggest is actually just before we get started, welcome. And I'm saying welcome, as you well know, because I'm taping this for people who can't attend. I already got a couple of emails just before session today. So um, welcome those of you that are here now, and welcome those of you who are tuning in after the fact. What are we're about today? We are practicing by request. So this is me tipping my cap. Metta meditation, or loving kindness practice. Um, and what I thought, just in terms of structure, we're looking at about a 20-ish minute sit. Um, the shape that you put your body in, totally your call, totally up to you. So long as you're comfortable and able to stay alert, um, that's kind of whatever that position looks like. Uh, that's the optimum one. Okay, so if you're dealing today with any aches and pains, or you're just dealing with whatever you're dealing with, whatever life happened to throw at you today, then be good to yourself right off the bat. The first act of loving kindness is directed at yourself in the sense of not putting your body into a contorted, uncomfortable position. I mean, aches and pains will happen. The feelings are going to come and go, right? But we don't need to sort of add to it. I'm going to just give you, I thought what I would do today is a little, almost like pep talk, like kind of a few thoughts on metta, because some people will, obviously have practiced this before and some not. Take any questions, comments you've got at the outset, and then we'll do this thing. As always, I'll kind of break it up every sort of 4 or 5 minutes. I'll step back in just in case anyone's lost their way, and guide them back to the practice, and give a cue or two to give you something to play with, so that you've got an opportunity to explore the practice. Because whether we're sitting metta meditation, whether we're practicing in a mindfulness style or open awareness, or really anything, I think that the big thing is that you're practicing like you mean it, right? So whatever, like you're actually here and you're doing it. So yeah, so there we go. Okay, so I should actually say at the outset, any questions or any comments that I think in my email today I talked about the wisdom of, I was going to say the room, we're not all in the same room, but the wisdom of our group, and I really mean that. Like, I think that the most intelligent observations that we've had over the last few weeks have been from more veteran practitioners within our community, and from children, not from me in particular. So anything that you would like to add, anyone? And I'll repeat back just so that people can hear after. Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay, so right. So metta meditation, in terms of the question or the comment, was just for if you didn't hear, was that metta practice or a loving kindness practice is part of many traditions or many sort of schools of meditation. In terms of me speaking to that, that was your question about like how I was trained, or just the sort of overall, like holistically? Okay, so the oh my gosh, I love practicing with you. Okay, so the comment, if you're not here, you won't have heard that if you're practicing later, was um, a desire for people to understand that metta is a fairly universal practice across different spiritual traditions. Tell me if I'm putting words in your mouth, and that uh, definitely the concern that no one feels that we're being asked to join a cult. So this isn't the Kool-Aid. It's kombucha, actually. Mm. Oh my gosh, we should go on the road with this act. Okay, so um, what would I say about metta meditation? Well, it is definitely, I mean, the training that I've received in metta meditation is definitely part of actually two different approaches. One is a tantric or yogic approach, which was part of my yoga training. And then to a greater extent, my own background has been in Buddhist expressions of metta meditation. But you're absolutely right to note that Again, I'm not a scholar of theistic traditions, but it is, you're right, it is an absolutely, there are self-reflective and there are practices of various natures, not just metta, that I think translate across a whole bunch of different faith communities and spiritual, theistic and non-theistic communities. And so the idea of connection to self and to others through an expression of loving kindness is, it's fairly widely held, which is only to say, definitely you're not being asked to join a cult. And it is, it's an expression of, this is my understanding, so I should say that at the outset. I don't claim to be an expert, but what I would say is that my understanding of metta is that it is asking us to tap into something that is inherent to what makes us human, which is feeling and caring for and about whatever it is we're caring for and about at a particular moment. And so in meditation, we pick and again here I'm sure that there's a more elegant Pali or Sanskrit word for this, but what I would simply say is target. So in other words, person that we are sending our good feelings and intentions to. And there's a real interesting, I guess the one thing I would say from my experience that I've learned over the last few years is that there is a real break between Eastern traditions of metta practice or loving kindness practice and in the West. And specifically that in the West, many people, did I break up? Okay. So sure, I can totally repeat that. So in the West, am I still gone? Am I here? Am I there? Okay, cool. Be here now. How about that? In the West, meditation and humor. Oh my gosh. In the West, many people find it quite, and this is ironic, I think, actually, in the sense that we're such an individualistic, kind of capitalistic society. Me, my mind. My house, my taxes, all of that stuff. And yet, when it comes to actually tapping into feeling of kindness, specifically directed to ourselves, many people find that difficult. I know that I actually thought it was quite easy. I'm like, hey, what are you talking about? I love myself. I got no problem with myself. I'm really good. I enjoy my life. I'm happy with who I am. And superficially, I think that's been my experience. But to actually tap in a much more profound, sort of deeper way where there are no strings attached, it's not like, I'll love you if you do this, or I'm going to be kind to you if you, cross these boxes off of the to-do list. It's just like this really sending out support and good feeling without unconditional love. How about that? And so from there, whereas the Eastern traditions that teachers, my understanding is, we're all a bit perplexed by this because with the Western difficulty with self-love, and don't have that sort of same distinction between self and other. But in any case, today I was going to suggest we choose the target of yourself, so showing self-kindness, but certainly you have the ability to move that target of good feeling to anything from someone, a friend or a benefactor, to someone you find challenging to work with or be with, to if you want the easiest target for me in the past has been pets, because the love for animals, at least for me, is quite uncomplicated. It's really pure. I don't have a lot of thoughts about the dog really stepped in it with me last week. It's just like, I love the dog. I want you to be happy. So and I should say that's a whole long-winded explanation. How did I do? Did I speak? Pretty good was the good ad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. That's I hear you. Yeah, sorry, I'm not laughing because that's ridiculous. Okay, so let me just repeat this back, and again, I'll let you correct me if I put words in your mouth. But the contribution there from Deborah was, and it's an outstanding one, that she has learned that there is definitely merit in not focusing so much on the negative aspects, or like these aspects of the person we're sending, the good feelings to, with an eye to fixing them, which is, it's absolute, that kind of judgy mind business is something we really get into. So instead, it's really embracing the inherent perfection of whoever or whatever you're sending your good feelings to. Almost like, I guess in the Buddhist tradition, it would be the idea of seeing Buddhas everywhere. Like if you've ever heard that turn of phrase, like, oh, that, I had a glimpse, or I suppose in a Christian tradition, the idea of seeing Christ, or Jesus. And again, I'm not but you follow me, right? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Any excellent contribution. Thank you again. Like I say, the wisdom of our group. Anything else from anyone else? Yeah. Yeah. Well, so what I'm Well, yeah. So in the normal meta practice, so here's where I'll explain how this would normally sort of roll out. Um, when we practice meta meditation, it's typically done as a series of phrases that we repeat back over and over. And those feelings, the feelings that are generated out of those phrases, are sent to that particular target, whoever or whatever that is, as I was saying. So um, today I'm going to at various kind of stops along the way, I'll give you the option to change target and to sort of progress. Again, traditionally that might be from self to someone you feel, really awesome about, to someone you're neutral, to just sort of a casual acquaintance, to someone who you find challenging or difficult. But absolutely, you might, like, so for me today, I think I'm probably going to just stay with me, because I feel like I need it. Like I need the self kindness. But that's truly, that's the awesome thing about meditation, is we get to all kind of go where we go. So in terms of what those phrases go ahead. No, don't to me. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. So the observation, so me, and I'm just repeating back so that others hear, is that this can be quite hard work. It is challenging, and yes, that, I think I alluded to that last week, that I have found this personally to be quite a challenging practice. And the one thing I'm gonna give at each kind of rest stop along the way, when I kind of tap back in, I'm gonna suggest something that everyone might find helpful or not, but you can give it a try. The one thing I would say at the beginning is exactly what you just mentioned, Deb, which is that it isn't simply reciting like a mantra, a series of phrases. So although traditionally that would be some variation on, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, and then may you be free, or may you live with ease. Really, and I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. There it is. I think that one of the things that I found challenging about this, or the reason I had difficulty connecting both with myself and with others in this practice, is because I was doing exactly, or rather I wasn't doing exactly what you mentioned there, Deb, which is to really feel it. Like that's the name of the game here. I actually kind of feel like I'm really humming in a meta practice if I'm almost not saying the phrases anymore. It's just the kind of like, really diffuse, unfocused feeling of goodness going to wherever I'm going. So if that's where you end up, I think that's awesome. If you, for me, the kind of warning sign is if I feel like I'm reading a script in my head, like I'm all up in here and I'm not at all in here, then just kind of slow it down. So yeah, that's a great point. The one thing I would say too, just before last little bit of setup here, and it feels like we're doing a lot of setup, but that's awesome. I hope that's good with you guys. I hope that's good with you peeps. I'm trying not to gender my language. There you go. Speaking of not beating up on yourself. In any case, I really also like the idea of picking phrases. So if you were to stay with yourself today as the target, and even if you were to change up, you can either stay with the phrases and direct them to another, or you can change them up as needs kind of arise, as it feels more or less right to say what you're saying or feel what you're feeling. But I really like on a kind of day-to-day changing it up. So if rather than just safe, healthy, happy, at ease, I pick ones that resonate for what I actually really want to be sending, what I actually want to be feeling right now. So for instance, well, not just today, this whole week, really, the last few days, I have been sitting with the phrases of be safe, be calm, be balanced, and be open. Because to be completely transparent about it, I'm heading back to school next week, back into a physical building. I'm a little stressed about that. And those are qualities that if I have, safe, once I know I'm safe, cool. And then if I've got calm and balance and openness, then I'm going to be the best iteration of Michael that I can be. And that's so that's why I'm doing that. So if your target is someone else, it's what Yes, they're all. Yeah, those three qualities definitely are all at ease. I mean, in terms of sort of my yoga background, we would talk about santosha, which is in the Sanskrit that would come back to contentment, like being okay with what is. And yeah, for me, that's not a mistake, because if I'm feeling ill at ease, I'm feeling dis-ease in a sense, then really just tapping in, reminding myself, you got this, it's gonna be okay. That's the whole game. So okay, so let's find ourselves moving from pep talk and conversation to practice. So finding yourself sitting. So for me, I've just taken my back away from my seat behind. Just adjust your body however feels right. So that might be just letting things settle, or it might be actually shifting, shaking, or do whatever you need. You may have already done it. In the sense that sometimes, in order to settle before a sit, we go for a short walk, or we practice, or whatever it is. But now we don't have to call this an on-ramp part of the practice, because we're not rushing ahead. We don't have to race to the metta. The metta's going to come to us. Well, we'll come to it, but just give it a moment. So in this first few breaths, eyes can be open or closed, obviously. Whatever suits. And you may wish to choose an object just to ground with in this first few moments of the sit. So in meditative terms, this can sometimes be called an anchor. I like to think of it as an attention life preserver. Not as succinct an analogy, but maybe a bit more accurate. So it's the idea of having something you can come back to if you get distracted, or if you're feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes when we feel all the feels, can be too much. So having a kind of that safer place that you can come back to, that you can rest your attention in, that's a good one. It's a nice place for us to start. So let's do that now. That might be a sensation in your body, wiggling your baby toe. It might be your breath. For me today, it's actually the rustling of the wind in the trees. So I'm practicing outside, the sit is outside. And that external focus, just kind of there in the background, gentle, not trying to grab it, but just there if I need it. So find that. As you're settling, you begin to settle in. There's this little balance, this sort of play that's going on, where you're both curious, like what's going on? What's happening right now? What's the lay of the land on the one hand? And then actually seeing to that, like seeing to whatever your needs are. Okay, and so I had mentioned that I have my own phrases for today, and if you want to take a moment, and yes, there may be some thinking involved, but it's actually kind of like a more intuitive, almost more somatic thinking. It's not just in your analytical, your judging brain, but like, what do you need right now, or what do you want to send out to whomever you're going to send this loving kindness? So maybe just in a, not overthinking it, but just dropping into those phrases. You can always come back to, may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. And may I know ease. May I know a life without suffering. Whatever those phrases are, so not searching for them, just letting them bubble up. So now if you need to take more time here, if it doesn't feel like everything's settled, know that you can catch for a handhold, metaphorically speaking, whenever you want. You can join us, you know, the show will go on. You can join us already in progress. But if you are ready, let's start to roll those phrases out. So just beginning to say to yourself. So this first round, at the very least, it's you. So the idea of you, and you're really holding your own self in your attention. And silently repeating, may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. And the strategy we employ here is to say it like we mean it. So say it with feeling. Like really, may you be safe. I want you to be safe. You deserve to be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. But really, like, feel joy. Feel contentment. Feel all the sort of gradations of happy. And may I know a life with ease. Just really, can I know chill? Can I be equanimous? Can I be okay? I want that for myself. I see myself as being worthy for that. So all of these ideas, like really almost like you're kind of just not digging, but just gently easing yourself in. Okay? Using maybe your own phrases. So for me today, may I be safe. May I be calm and feel it in my body, feel it in my mind. May I know balance. Can I be open? Can I drop resistance and just be with experience rather than trying to protect. So the next few minutes in silence, phrases that you're going to work with today. Good. Just staying with your phrases. Just rechecking, resetting. So I'm actually wiping talk about hard work, wiping the sweat off my brow. All right. Just finding yourself if you lost yourself there. So you can stay with the same target. You can stay with sending those good vibes to yourself. Or I want to move out to someone, say someone who you deeply care about, someone for whom there's going to be an uncomplicated exchange. So you're not going to have to tease your way through this. In some ways, this might even be easier than that act of self-caring. Okay, so taking a moment here, letting the choice kind of bubble up on its own, and then commit to it. Is it you? Is it another? And in particular, if it is another strategy that you might employ is to visualize the person. So really hold them in, as Deb said, in all of their wonder, all of their perfection, all their awesomeness. And just feel the feelings kind of generate out of that. Okay, it could be, the feeling of respect. It could be the feeling of, it runs the gamut. Adoration, caring, nurturing, really whatever it is. But tapping into that visual sense of the person, either who they are or how they might be or how they were, but in a way that makes sense to you, that lets you feel all those good things for them. May they be safe. May they be healthy. And I really want them to be healthy. You don't control that, they don't control it, but you're sending them that wish. Enjoy good health and happiness. May you be happy, or may they be happy. See, we can flip back and forth. It's you, it's them, it's us. May they live without struggle. May they know ease. And feel that for them. see them at ease. And don't overthink it. Just allow yourself to drop into those phrases, whatever they are, directing them with, and you might not have feeling, it may feel forced, go easy on yourself. Just let it be what it is. Sending them the feelings however they present. Flies when you're sending out the good vibes. So our third and final sort of little pit stop here. You can stay with those phrases. You can stay with or return to whichever person or target you had. Or if you're up for it, certainly choose a more neutral or a more challenging target. Or you can go really wide, big picture, and send out the idea of sending out all the goodness, all of those good qualities wherever they are to to your community, to your city, to your to the whole world, to all sentient beings and all life everywhere. It's however big you want to get or small you want to slice it. May you, may we be safe. I'm still here. If I faded back in, I'm back. Cool. And I was sending you the may you be safe. May our connection be safe. May you be healthy. May we be healthy, enjoy a healthy society. May we all be happy. Share that feeling with everyone. No joy, no contentment. And may we all know ease amidst the suffering. May we feel all these things deeply. So there's strategy number 3. The idea of as I had alluded to earlier, tapping into a really felt sense, somatic, a body sense of wanting this goodness to be passed along, of willing it into action just by feeling it, just through your own intention. Sort of meditative equivalent of telekinesis or bending spoons. You're just sending all of that goodness to the person who you're sending it to, whether they need it or perceive it or whyever they've been chosen. Just really digging deep and allowing yourself to feel that. So let's stay with wherever you are for our last few minutes here, and I'll bring us back together in our final minute. May I be safe. May I be calm. May I be balanced. May I be open. Final minute of the meditation. So let's recommit to the person we're sending out all those good feelings to, almost as if this was the first moment that you're sending those feelings out. So if there's any kind of lethargy or distraction that's crept into your practice, just sort of, oh yeah, I'm here. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. And may you live with it with ease. Okay, and a final time, I'm going to send this out almost like I'm holding the whole group here. Those of you way out there in the interweb, those of you that are checking in later, wish for you to be safe. I really want it. I really do. And I hope that you are all experiencing health however you can, that you've got some goodness in there, that you can feel good in your body and mind. That you can know happiness. I want that for all of you. And I hope that you are finding ease amidst the struggle. I hope that you can feel that. I want to share that out with you. Even if I can't have it, I want you to have it. Okay. bring yourself back. So coming out of sort of more formal practice. For me, that involves a little drink and just gently easing the wasps away. Kool-Aid not required. You'll notice that there was no talk of running shoes or anything else. And I shouldn't joke. I mean, that's, but no, it's it can feel quite foreign. It's quite. Isn't it a comment that the idea of just being quietly reflective, speaking of human universals or universals across contemplative traditions, that isn't it a shame that we might find it might seem so unusual to actually tap into these feelings that are so beneficial, but there it is, we did it. So maybe just a little self-check. How are you doing? What do you need, and if you need anything at all? One of those questions I love for myself all the time is, what am I believing right now, or what are you believing right now? I kind of stuck in any thought loops, particularly if something came up during the meditation, as can happen. Right on. Awesome. I'm glad that chilled you out. Thank you. That feedback appreciated. Thanks, Nicole. Any other questions, comments, or anything out there from anyone in the group, or? I would happily do that. So the question was, will I send the written notes out? I'm going to do this two ways. I will send it to everyone in an email on the list, and I will also add it in the I was going to say the show notes. that is definitely overstating my technical ability, but anyway, what I post on the YouTube channel, I'll write it in there so that it'll be there. Okay. And I should say they were by design. We'd been talking a little bit for the last few weeks about this practice, and I think one of my little kind of a split off the meditative path where I got lost a little bit was trying to write out like really deeply meaningful phrases, and it turned into, I don't even really know what it was, whether it was half poem, half story, but it became a bit much to manage, in the sense that I was no longer here. I was all up in my head and into that kind of craving mind state, as opposed to just wanting good things. So but hey, it's that's the practice, right? It kind of reveals stuff as we go along. I think we are with our preamble and talk, which I love, by the way. I hope we do more of this with our sits and with our physical practice. But I think we're moving on to the 45-minute mark. So unless there are any final questions or pearls of wisdom, I'm going to ask us to leave it there. But before I do so, and actually absolutely happy to take those final questions or comments. But one, just a reminder that we are off next week, Labor Day. Although this doesn't feel like a labor at all. I recognize people will be kicking back, hopefully. And then I wish that for all of you. And then starting on the 14th, we've got to move things back to 4:30. I hope that's going to be okay with people. It's just a necessity, because I'll be rushing back from school, and the earliest I could do would be about 4, and even that's going to be pushing it. So, okay. Wonderful.